Hey everyone, how's it going? Joe here from Zilla Cabs. In this video today, we're going to take a little look at this pair. So we've got a Mesa Boogie Roadster head and a Zilla Super Fatboy 2x12. So I thought we'd just do something a little bit different today, talk you through some of the features of this amp, this really cool amp, and also the cab we got paired with it. So the head is one of Paul's heads, and it's moving on, and the customer asked for it to be recovered as well. So we've refinished it in this white Bronco Tolex. Usually they come in the sort of black Taurus that you're used to seeing on Mesa Boogie heads. And I think in contrast with the black tread plate, it looks really cool. And then the Super Fatboy underneath it's a standard Super Fatboy, but this one's got an entirely closed back. In standard configuration, they come with a three-piece back, which is 3 panels, allowing you to remove the central section to give you a combination of an open back or a kind of closed back sound. But here this is just a complete closed back, so it's braced in, which should give it a really direct sound, really strong bottom end. And again, the Super Fatboy is also finished in white Bronco with a blues breaker grille and black piping, which I think looks really great together. So the cab's got 2 vintage 30s on boards, which is a great pairing for, well, for most things really, but especially for Mesa Boogie rectifier style amps. So the amplifier, I'll be honest, I haven't played a lot of Roadsters. I think maybe this is my second time playing one, but I played with the Roadking that we use a lot here. And I used to own a rectifier, so I'm kind of familiar with the circuitry, the way the preamps work, where the preamp works. And so just to talk you through the amplifier a little bit, and as I say, there's probably people who know more about this kind of stuff than me, but I'll give you a little tour of what I know of it. The amp is set up, you've got 4 channels, so already you're thinking there's lots of tones here that you can get a hold of. And each channel has in turn got 3 modes. Each switch kind of changes voicing and also the level of gain that you can get from that channel. So the way I've set up the amp here is that I've got 4 sort of usable sounds that cover the range of what I would want for sort of any general purpose gig really, but maybe sort of like a hard rock metal kind of gig. So what I've got here is I've got the 4 channels set up as channel 1 is a totally clean sound. Channel 2 I've got it on the Brit mode, which I guess is their sort of way of going towards a Marshall kind of sound, and I think it does a pretty good job of this. The amp's got 6L6 power tubes, so it's not a totally British sort of flavour, but it's just got a more sort of British EQ to it in that mode on the second channel. On the third channel, I've set this up in the modern voicing, and I've just gone for the classic rectifier rhythm sound here. So think of that sort of early 90s overkill bottom end metal kind of rhythm sound. And then for the 4th channel, I've set up a lead tone. This is on the vintage mode, which it's not, the vintage name is not really probably the best description in my eyes of the way it sounds. And I set this up for more of a sort of Mark series kind of lead sound. So I've got the treble roll back and the mid quite a way up there, actually maxed out I think. Yeah, and yeah, I think that channel does a really good job of getting a lead sound. So as I say, with the 4 channels set up in this manner, you've sort of got everything covered for most gigs really. You've also got a foot switchable reverb, and you can choose how much level of is being sent to the reverb tank on each per channel on the back of the amp. I'll show you some shots of the back of the amp. So the front panel is very similar to the Roadking. I guess the Roadking is the big brother of this amp. The back panel is where some of the differences are. So I don't know a full exhaustive list of all the differences between the Roadster and the Roadking, but from a quick glance on the back, the Roadster doesn't allow you to change power amp settings per channel, which the Roadking does, and it doesn't allow you to use multiple cabs and switch between the cabs per channel. I guess those might be some of the lesser used features on a Roadking anyway, so paring down from those, you've still got so many options available to you, and you can still choose between 50 watt and 100 watts per channel on the back panel. I've got them all set in 100 watts here because I just like the headroom that you get with 100 watts. And being in our studio here, we're not really constrained to what volume you get. And a little note on that as well, like 50 watts and 100 watts, there's not a huge amount of difference in volume as well. So sometimes people get hung up on the 50 versus 100 watt for volume, but to me, it's more of a feel thing, and it's more of the way that the amp works and breaks up, as opposed to how much volume you're getting out of it. I mean, 50 watt amps are still, really, really loud amps. So, so without further ado, without waffling on too much longer, let's have a listen to how it's sounding. So this is channel 1. I'm using Paul Reed Smith Custom 22, and on the neck pickup sounds like this. So it's a really clean tone. To get that though on this amp, I noticed that I have to run the gain pretty low on that channel. Even on the clean setting, I'm not sure what pickups are in this guitar, but it's wanting to break up pretty soon. So to get the balance right between the channels, I've had to turn the master output up pretty loud and run, and then turn the master on channel 1 up pretty loud, and then had to balance the other channels accordingly, so that all the other channels, the masters are fairly low. So that's one maybe drawback I've noticed of this amp, is that the clean channel isn't the most clean in the world. So to get a totally clean sound out of it, you run the gain so low that you've got to crank the master up to get some volume out of it. But that being said, it's still by no means meaning that the rest of the amp is quiet. There's still plenty of room to breathe here. So yeah, that's a great basic clean sound there, I think, and should take pedals pretty well as well. So this is the Strymon Riverside in front of it. So channel 2, I've got this set up in the Brit mode. Let's check out how that sounds. So it does a pretty good job of getting near a Marshall kind of sound, I think. That sort of barky mid-range bite to it. Maybe the top end isn't quite as pleasant as you might get on a Marshall. It's not quite as smooth to me. But maybe I got the treble up a bit higher than I might do on a Marshall here. Actually, no, I haven't. I got the treble right down. Yeah, so it's a good flavour to have in the amp, I think, and really useful for like a rock rhythm sound. So getting on to rhythm sounds, let's check out channel 3, which I've got set up on the modern voicing. And to me, this is what rectifier amps are all about, really. So tons of low end, as you might expect from a rectifier type of amp, and yeah, these amps are, that sound is what these amps are all about for me. You can get nice cleans if you want them, and the sort of martially kind of tones at a push, but really I think that's the key of what these amps are all about. So if I was set up with that as my main rhythm sound, if I wanted to go for a lead sound from there, I've set up channel 4, as I said, on the vintage mode. I've just whacked the mid quite well, pretty much all the way up. The presence is off, and I'm just using the treble up to the point before it starts getting too fizzy for lead lines. For lead playing, I like to use quite a dark sound. It just smooths off the attack a little bit, and just seems to have a little bit more sustain to the sound for me. So so that sounds like this, channel 4. So a pretty thick lead sound there. That's probably reminiscent more of, as I say, the Mark series amps to me, the old Boogies. And that's really great to have that on board this amp. So in combination with the rhythm sound on channel 3 and that lead tone on channel 4, I think that's what this amp's all about, really, for me. It's great to have the other flavours there as well, just to be able to just to have that tonal palette available to you. But if I was going to go for a more Marshall sound or an all-out clean sound, I think there are other places I might look to first. But that's not to detract from these tones. I think they are still really great, useful clean and crunch tones. But as I say, it's all about channel 3 and channel 4 for me here. So I think I'll play us out with some more on those two channels. So just left to say thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notifications of when we bring new videos out. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and in the comments section below, let me know any of your thoughts on Mesa Boogie amps in general, or the Roadster, or Super Fatboy cab, what you think of the way that sounded. And yeah, just let me know any of your thoughts or what videos you'd like to see coming up soon, and we'll see you in another video very soon. Thanks.